The year was 2347, and humanity had finally done it. After centuries of dreaming about the stars, they had built ships that could travel faster than light. 3 vessels now sailed through the endless dark of space. The HSS Wanderlust led the way, followed by the HSS Defiant and the HSS Hold My Beer. Yes, humans had named a starship Hold My Beer. The naming committee had lost a bet. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Wanderlust. She was a tall woman with dark hair and tired eyes that had seen too many night shifts. She sipped her coffee and watched the stars streak past on the main screen. This was humanity's first trip into what the old scientists had called the Great Unknown. So far, the Great Unknown was mostly empty and a little boring. "Captain," said Lieutenant Chen from the sensor station, "I am picking up something strange." Vasquez walked over to look at his screen. "What kind of strange?" "Ships, Captain. Many ships. At least 200 of them. And they are heading right for us." Vasquez felt her heart beat faster, but she kept her face calm. This was it. First contact with alien life. She had trained for this moment her whole career. "All ships, slow down. Let them come to us. And someone wake up Dr. Morrison. He is our contact specialist, and he should probably be here for this." 10 minutes later, the alien fleet appeared on their main screen. The ships were beautiful in a strange way. They were long and thin, with glowing blue lights running along their sides. They moved in perfect formation, like a school of fish. There were exactly 200 of them, and they had formed a half circle around the 3 human ships. Dr. Morrison stumbled onto the bridge, still putting on his uniform jacket. He was a round man with messy hair and glasses that he kept pushing up his nose. "Are those aliens?" "Those are aliens." "Oh my God, those are actual aliens." "Yes, thank you, Doctor," Vasquez said. "Can you tell us anything useful?" Before Morrison could answer, the communication screen flickered to life. An alien face appeared. It was not human at all. The creature had gray skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, and a mouth full of small, sharp teeth. It wore something that looked like a military uniform covered in medals and ribbons. "Attention! Unknown vessels," the alien said. Its voice was deep and cold. "I am Admiral Crix Noth of the Galactic Council Enforcement Fleet. You have entered regulated space without permission. This is a crime punishable by death or eternal servitude. You will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. You will surrender your ships and your crew to the authority of the Galactic Council. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction. You have 60 seconds to comply." The bridge went silent. Everyone stared at the screen. The alien stared back, its 4 eyes unblinking. Then someone in the back of the bridge started laughing. It was Ensign Rodriguez, a young man fresh out of the academy. He tried to stop, covering his mouth with his hands, but the laughter kept coming. It spread like a disease. Lieutenant Chen started chuckling. Dr. Morrison made a sound like a dying seal. Even the serious Commander Williams, who never smiled, was biting her lip and shaking. Captain Vasquez felt it too. The whole situation was just so absurd. Here they were, 3 little ships on their first trip to the stars, and some alien was threatening them with death or eternal servitude. It sounded like something from a bad movie. She tried to respond professionally. She really did. But when she opened her mouth, a laugh escaped. "I'm sorry," she said, waving her hand at the screen. "I'm sorry, just give us a moment." On the alien ship, Admiral Crixnoth watched in confusion. In his 12,000 years of service to the Galactic Council, he had seen many reactions to his threats. He had seen species cry. He had seen them beg. He had seen them try to run. He had seen them freeze in terror. But he had never, not once, seen anyone laugh. "Are they mocking us?" asked his second in command. A creature with tentacles and too many eyes. I do not know, Crixnoth admitted. Perhaps they do not understand the danger they are in. On the Wanderlust, Captain Vasquez finally got control of herself. She wiped tears from her eyes and took a deep breath. Okay. I apologize for that. Admiral Crixnoth, was it? I am Captain Elena Vasquez of the United Nations Space Fleet. We are peaceful explorers from the planet Earth. We did not know this was regulated space. We had no intention of breaking any laws. Your intentions do not matter, Crixnoth replied. The law is the law. Surrender now. Well, here is the thing, Vasquez said. We would love to talk about this. Really, we would. Maybe we can work something out. But we are not going to surrender. That is just not going to happen. Crixnoth's 4 eyes narrowed. You do not seem to understand your situation, human. You have 3 ships. I have 200. My weapons can melt asteroids. My fleet has conquered 1,000 worlds. You cannot win this fight. Vasquez looked at her crew. They had stopped laughing now, but they were all smiling. She turned back to the screen. Admiral, I do not want a fight. Nobody needs to get hurt here. But I have to be honest with you. We are not scared. And I think there might be some things about humans that you do not know yet. Is that a threat? Crixnoth demanded. No, Vasquez said. It is just a fact. Now, can we please talk about this like reasonable people, or whatever you are? I am sure there is a peaceful solution here. Crixnoth cut the communication without another word. On his bridge, he turned to his weapons officer. These creatures are either very brave or very stupid. Either way, they need to learn respect. Fire a warning shot. Show them what real power looks like. The weapons officer smiled and pressed a button. On the Wanderlust, the crew watched as a massive beam of blue plasma shot across the darkness of space. It passed right in front of their ship, close enough to see clearly on the main screen. It was an impressive display. The beam was bright and hot and looked very dangerous. Then it hit their shields. The ship did not even shake. Ensign Rodriguez checked his console and frowned. Captain, did something just happen? My sensors picked up a small energy reading, but I thought it was a glitch. Vasquez stared at the screen where 200 alien warships waited. She thought about what Crixnoth had said about his weapons melting asteroids. She thought about the warning shot that had felt like nothing at all. Well, she said slowly, this is going to be interesting. She picked up her coffee and took a long sip. It was going to be a very long day. Admiral Crixnoth stared at his tactical display. The plasma beam had hit the human ship directly. It should have torn through the hull like paper. Instead, the strange vessel just sat there, completely untouched. Report, he demanded. What happened? His weapons officer checked his instruments 3 times before answering. The shot hit their shields, Admiral. It did not penetrate. It did not even leave a mark. That is impossible. Our plasma cannons can crack open a moon. Yes, Admiral, but the human shields just absorbed the shot, like it was nothing. On the Wanderlust, Captain Vasquez was having a similar conversation with her science officer, Lieutenant Commander Park. Park was a small woman with sharp eyes and a brain that worked faster than most computers. So let me understand this, Vasquez said. Their best weapon, the one they use to threaten whole planets, only hit our shields at about 0.3% power? Park nodded. That is correct, Captain. If I compare their plasma beam to our standard naval weapons, it is like comparing a flashlight to the sun. Their most powerful shot would not even scratch our paint. How is that possible? They have 200 ships. They control the galaxy. How can they be so weak? Park pulled up some data on her screen. I have a theory, Captain. Look at their ships. They are thin and light. They do not have heavy armor. Their engines are small. I think the answer is gravity. Gravity? Earth has very strong gravity compared to most planets. We evolved to survive in that gravity. Our bones are dense. Our muscles are strong. When we built ships, we built them to handle forces that would crush most species. We built them to survive meteor impacts and solar flares and all the other dangers of space. Park pointed at the alien fleet on the screen. These aliens probably came from lighter worlds. They never needed to build tough ships because they never faced the same dangers. To them, a plasma beam that can melt an asteroid is amazing. To us, it is barely a weapon at all. Vasquez sat back in her chair and thought about this. Humanity had always considered itself average, not too strong, not too weak, just ordinary people from an ordinary planet. But maybe they had been wrong. Maybe Earth was not ordinary at all. Outside, Admiral Crixnoth was growing impatient. He had given these humans a chance to see his power, and they had not even reacted. It was time to show them what a real attack looked like. "All ships," he commanded. "Open fire! Full barrage! Destroy them!" 200 ships fired at once. The space around the human vessels lit up with plasma beams, energy bolts, and missile trails. It was the kind of attack that had ended civilizations. It was the kind of attack that had burned worlds. It was the kind of attack that no species had ever survived. On the Wanderlust, the lights flickered slightly. "Report," Vasquez said calmly. "Shields are holding at 98%, Ensign Rodriguez reported. "The attack is causing some minor energy drain, but nothing serious. At this rate, they could fire at us for about 300 years before our shields fail." Commander Williams walked over to the window and watched the light show outside. "It is actually quite pretty," she said. "Like fireworks." "Someone should record this," Lieutenant Chen said. "My family back home would love to see it." "Already on it," Rodriguez said, holding up his personal device. "This is going straight to my social media. First contact with aliens, and they are putting on a show for us." On the Defiant and the Hold My Beer, the crews were having similar reactions. Someone on the Hold My Beer had started making popcorn. The captain of the Defiant was taking bets on how long the aliens would keep firing. The attack lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Then it stopped. Not because the humans had surrendered, but because Admiral Crixnoth had run out of ammunition. His bridge was silent. Every weapon had been fired. Every missile had been launched. And the 3 human ships were still there, completely undamaged, probably laughing at him again. "Admiral," his communication officer said quietly, "we are receiving a transmission from the human ship." "Put it through," Crixnoth said. His voice was tired. Captain Vasquez appeared on the screen. She was smiling, but it was a kind smile, not a mocking one. "Admiral, that was very impressive. Really, it was. Beautiful colors, great coordination. Your fleet works together very well." Crixnoth did not know what to say. "But I think we need to talk," Vasquez continued. "There seems to be a power difference between our peoples that neither of us expected. I do not want anyone to get hurt. Can we please just have a conversation?" "How?" Crixnoth asked. "How are you not destroyed? I hit you with everything we have." Vasquez thought about how to explain it kindly. "Admiral, we come from a planet called Earth. It is what we call a death world. Strong gravity, extreme weather, dangerous animals, diseases that kill millions. Our history is full of disasters that should have ended us. Ice ages, asteroid impacts. We even invented weapons that could destroy our entire planet, and then we used them on each other just to see what would happen." Crixnoth felt his blood run cold. "We are not special," Vasquez said. "We are just survivors. Our ships are built to handle things that would destroy most civilizations. Your weapons are powerful by your standards, but to us they are more like a strong wind. Uncomfortable, but not dangerous." "Then we have no way to fight you," Crixnoth said. "You could destroy us all." "Yes," Vasquez admitted. "But we do not want to. We came here to explore, to meet new people, to make friends. We did not come here to conquer anyone. War is tiring. We have had enough of it. Trust me on that." There was a long pause. Crixnoth looked at his crew. They were terrified. They had just learned that their entire military might meant nothing to these strange creatures from a death world. "What do you want?" he finally asked. "Right now? Just to talk. Maybe share some food. Learn about each other. You seem like a reasonable person, Admiral. A bit quick to shoot, but reasonable. I think if we sit down together, we can work this out." Crixnoth closed his eyes. In 12,000 years, he had never surrendered. He had never even considered it. But this was not really a surrender, was it? The humans were not demanding anything. They just wanted to talk. "Very well," he said. "We will talk." On the Wanderlust, the crew cheered. Dr. Morrison was already preparing cultural materials to share. The kitchen staff was making extra food in case the aliens wanted to try human cooking. But far away, on a station at the center of the galaxy, the Galactic Council was watching everything. High Counselor Vexithari, leader of the Anthari Collective and chairman of the council, stared at the footage of humans applauding the attack like entertainment. "What are these creatures?" she whispered. Her advisors had no answer. "Find out everything you can about them," she commanded. "Everything, and prepare the emergency council. If these humans are as dangerous as they appear, we need to act fast." The wheels of galactic politics began to turn, and humanity, still hoping for peaceful first contact, had no idea what was coming next. Galaxy Council confronts human ships, humanity's reaction, pure laughter. Part 3. The Council convenes in panic. The Council chambers on Nexus Prime were the largest meeting hall in the known galaxy. The station itself was older than most star systems, built by a species that had disappeared millions of years ago. Now it served as the heart of galactic civilization, where thousands of species came together to govern the stars. Today, the chamber was packed. Representatives from over 4,000 worlds sat in rising rows that stretched up toward a ceiling lost in shadow. Holographic displays showed news feeds from every corner of the galaxy, and every single display was showing the same thing: 3 small human ships sitting peacefully in space, while the most powerful fleet in the galaxy fired everything it had at them. High Counselor Vexithari stood at the center of the chamber. She was an Antharii, a species known for their 4 hearts and calm temperament. Right now, all 4 of her hearts were beating far too fast. "Silence," she commanded. The chamber went quiet. "We have all seen the footage. We have all heard the reports. The question now is simple. What do we do about these humans?" A delegate from the Zealith Collective rose to speak. The Zealith were small, furry creatures with large ears and nervous eyes. "Counselor, our intelligence division has been researching the human homeworld. The findings are disturbing." "Show us," Vexithari said. The main display changed to show a blue and green planet. It looked peaceful from space, with white clouds and large oceans. But the data that appeared next to it was anything but peaceful. "Earth," the Zealith delegate began. "Surface gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared. That is nearly 3 times the galactic average. The planet has extreme temperature variations, from -90 to over 50 degrees. It has storms that can level cities. It has ground movements that collapse mountains. It has giant waves that swallow coastlines." The chamber was silent. "The planet also has predators, many predators, creatures with sharp teeth and claws that hunt and kill. And the humans? They did not hide from these predators. They did not run away. They hunted them back. They killed the predators and wore their skins as clothing. They kept some predators as pets. They bred them to be loyal companions." A delegate from another world fainted. "But that is not the worst part," the Zealith continued. "The humans have a substance called caffeine. It is a poison, a nerve toxin that affects brain function. They drink it every morning. They also consume alcohol. Another poison that damages internal organs. They drink it for fun, at parties. That is impossible, someone shouted. No species could survive such things. Humans do not just survive them. They enjoy them. They have something called spicy food that causes pain when eaten. They eat it on purpose because they like the feeling. Vexthari felt one of her hearts skip a beat. There is more, the Zealith said. Humans have a long history of violence. Not against other species, but against themselves. They have fought thousands of wars over their history. They invented weapons specifically designed to kill each other more efficiently. And 300 years ago, they created something called nuclear weapons. The display changed to show old footage of a mushroom cloud rising over a destroyed city. Nuclear weapons use atomic energy to create explosions that can destroy entire cities. The radiation left behind kills for generations. Humans created these weapons, used them on their own kind, and then built more of them. At one point, they had enough nuclear weapons to destroy their entire planet several times over. And they are still alive? Vexthari asked. Not only alive, but thriving. Their population grew. Their technology advanced. They eventually realized that destroying their own planet was a bad idea and agreed to mostly stop building nuclear weapons. But the important thing is this: they survived their own destruction. They looked at the end of their world and decided it was not going to happen. The chamber erupted in worried conversation. Vexthari raised her hand for silence. What about their biology? She asked. Surely there must be some weakness. A medical expert from the Helix species stepped forward. The Helix were known for their knowledge of biology and medicine. Counselor, human biology is remarkable. Their immune system can adapt to new diseases. If a disease does not kill them, their bodies learn to fight it. Their bones, when broken, heal back stronger than before. Their muscles grow larger when damaged and repaired. They actually become stronger from injury. What about their minds? Even more concerning, humans have a psychological response called spite. When someone tells a human that something is impossible or that they cannot do something, it makes them want to do it more. They become more motivated, more determined. Telling a human they will fail actually increases their chances of success. Vexthari sat down heavily in her chair. So we are dealing with a species that drinks poison, survives nuclear war, heals from injury, and becomes more dangerous when challenged. Is there any good news? The chamber was silent. Then a voice spoke up from the back. It was Admiral Thexvor, commander of the Omega Fleet. He was an ancient warrior, covered in scars from 1,000 battles. In 3 million years of service, he had never lost a fight. There is one option, he said. The Omega Fleet. 10,000 ships, each one the size of a moon. Weapons that can crack planets in half. It has been sleeping for 3 million years because we never needed it. But if these humans are truly as dangerous as you say, perhaps it is time to wake it up. Vexthari considered this. The Omega Fleet was the Council's ultimate weapon. Using it felt like admitting defeat. But what choice did they have? The human captain is trying to negotiate, she said. She claims they want peace. A trick, Thexvor replied. No species with that much power wants peace. They want to study us, learn our weaknesses, and then destroy us. I have seen it before. The only way to survive is to strike first with everything we have. The chamber voted. It was not even close. Fear won easily over hope. Wake the Omega Fleet, Vexthari commanded. May the stars forgive us for what we are about to do. Far away on the Wanderlust, Captain Vasquez was sharing coffee with Admiral Crixnoth. The alien had never tasted caffeine before. His 4 eyes went very wide. This is a poison, he said. Yes, Vasquez agreed. But a delicious one. Try some sugar with it. Her communication officer interrupted them. Captain, Earth Command is asking if you need any backup. They have detected a large energy signature heading your way. Vasquez sighed. Tell them we are fine. Just some new friends learning to get along. She had no idea that 10,000 warships were about to prove her wrong. Galaxy Council confronts human ships, humanity's reaction. Pure laughter. Part 4. The Omega Fleet's humiliation. The Omega Fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel like a storm appearing from a clear sky. 10,000 ships filled the space around the human vessels, each one massive beyond imagination. The smallest ship in the fleet was larger than most space stations. The largest, Admiral Thexivor's flagship, was the size of a small moon. Captain Vasquez spilled her coffee. Okay, she said slowly, staring at the tactical display. That is a lot of ships. Admiral Crixnoth, who had been learning to enjoy human pastries, dropped his croissant. The Omega Fleet, he whispered. They actually woke it up. In all my years, I never thought I would see it activated. I assume this is bad? This fleet destroyed the Carvex Empire 3 million years ago. They controlled 1,000 star systems. The Omega Fleet ended them in 1 week. Vasquez took a deep breath. Lieutenant Chen, open a channel to Earth. Tell them we might need that backup after all. Before Chen could respond, the main screen flickered to life. An alien face appeared, but this one was different from Crixnoth. It was older, harder, covered in scars that told stories of countless battles. This was Admiral Thexvor, and he did not look interested in conversation. Human vessels, he said. I am Admiral Thexvor, commander of the Omega Fleet, servant of the Galactic Council. You have one chance to surrender. There will be no negotiation. There will be no mercy. Power down your ships and prepare to die with some small amount of honor. If you resist, I will reduce your ships to atoms and then travel to your homeworld to do the same to every human who has ever lived. Vasquez looked at her crew. They looked back at her. Nobody seemed particularly scared, which was either very brave or very foolish. Admiral Thexvor, she replied. I appreciate the dramatic entrance. Very impressive. But I have to tell you what I told Admiral Crixnoth. We do not surrender, and threatening our homeworld is not a good way to start a friendship. Friendship. Thexvor laughed. It was not a nice laugh. You think I want friendship? I want your species extinct. I want your planet burned. I want your memory erased from history. This is not about friendship, human. This is about survival. Your survival ends today. Vasquez sighed. She had really hoped this would not happen. Chen. Did Earth respond? Yes, Captain. They are sending the retribution. It should arrive in about 3 hours. One ship? Crixnoth asked. They are sending one ship against the Omega Fleet? The retribution is enough, Vasquez said. Trust me. The next 3 hours were tense. Admiral Thexvor did not attack immediately. He wanted the humans to watch his fleet, to count his ships, to understand the hopelessness of their situation. He wanted them afraid. The humans used the time to finish their breakfast and watch a movie. When the UNSF retribution finally arrived, it appeared without warning, dropping out of faster-than-light travel right between the human ships and the Omega Fleet. It was a destroyer-class vessel, which meant it was not even a proper warship by human standards. Just a patrol ship designed for protecting shipping lanes and handling small threats. But even so, the retribution was different from the exploration vessels. It was covered in heavy armor plating, scarred and dented from old battles. Its weapon systems hummed with barely contained power. The crew was made up entirely of volunteers, people who had signed up for hazardous duty because they thought it sounded like fun. Captain Marcus Stone commanded the retribution. He was a calm man, with gray hair and steady hands. He had served in the Jupiter campaign, the most dangerous conflict in human history, and survived things that would drive most people insane. This is the retribution, he announced over an open channel. I hear someone has been threatening my friends. Admiral Thexvor stared at the single human warship that had appeared in front of his fleet. Is this a joke? You send one ship to face the Omega fleet? Do you not understand what we are? I understand perfectly, Stone replied. You are very old, very proud, and very confused about how this is going to end. Now I am going to give you one chance. Turn around and go home. Tell your council that humans want peace. Tell them we are not their enemy. Do that and nobody gets hurt. Nobody gets hurt? Thexvor was laughing again. Human, I have 10,000 ships. Each one can destroy a planet. You have one small vessel. The only one getting hurt here is you. All right, Stone said, but I warned you. Thexvor gave the order. All ships, fire, maximum power. Erase them from existence. 10,000 ships fired at once. The combined energy output was enough to crack a star. The space around the Retribution became a solid wall of plasma, energy beams, missiles, and destruction. It was the most powerful attack ever launched in the history of the galaxy. The Retribution did not dodge. It did not even try to avoid the barrage. Instead, it flew forward, directly into the attack, shields flickering but holding. On the Omega Fleet flagship, Thexvor watched in disbelief. How? How is it still functioning? Admiral, his sensor officer reported, voice shaking. Their shields are holding at 87%. Our weapons are barely making a dent. The Retribution kept coming. It flew straight through the barrage like a person walking through rain. Then it stopped. Right in front of Thexvor's flagship, close enough to see the individual armor plates on its hull. Captain Stone, Vasquez said over the communication channel. Maybe just a warning shot? Something gentle? Copy that, Wanderlust. Setting weapons to minimum power. The Retribution had a main gun designed for destroying asteroid threats. It was not their most powerful weapon. It was just standard equipment for patrol duties. Stone targeted an empty region of space behind the Omega fleet, far from any ships, and fired a single shot. The beam crossed the void in an instant. It passed between the Omega fleet ships without touching any of them. Then it hit a small moon that happened to be floating in the background. The moon exploded. Not cracked, not damaged, exploded. One moment it was there, and the next it was just dust and debris spreading across space. Oh no, Stone said, sounding genuinely embarrassed. I am sorry about that. That was the lowest setting. I forgot how empty space can be misleading. Is anyone hurt? Nobody answered. The entire Omega fleet had gone silent. 10,000 ships, the most powerful military force in the galaxy, sat frozen in shock. On his flagship, Admiral Thexvor stared at the debris field that used to be a moon. His hands were shaking. His mind was trying to process what he had just seen. One shot. The lowest setting. A moon destroyed. Admiral, his communication officer said quietly. What do we do? Thexvor thought about his options. He could order another attack, but what would be the point? If the humans could destroy moons with their weakest weapons, what could they do with their strongest? He thought about the human homeworld, about the nuclear weapons they had built to kill each other. He thought about a species that drank poison for fun and kept predators as pets. For the first time in 3 million years, Admiral Thexvor the Undefeated understood that he could not win this fight. He could not even come close. All ships, he said, his voice tired and broken. Stand down. Power down weapons. We surrender. On the Wanderlust, the crew cheered. Captain Vasquez smiled and picked up her communication device. Captain Stone, nice work. Minimal destruction, maximum impact. Very professional. Happy to help, Captain, though I really am sorry about that moon. I hope nobody owned it. Far away, High Counselor Vex Thari watched the footage of the Omega fleet surrendering to a single human patrol ship. She watched the moon explode from what the humans called their weakest weapon. She watched her greatest military asset become worthless in less than a minute. What are we going to do? Her advisor asked. Vexithari had no answer. For the first time in her long life, she had no idea what to do next. The galaxy had changed forever, and she was not sure if that was a good thing or a very, very bad thing. Galaxy Council confronts human ships. Humanity's reaction? Pure laughter. Part 5. A New Galactic Order, with snacks. 2 weeks had passed since the Omega Fleet's surrender. In that time, the entire galaxy had held its breath, waiting to see what the humans would do next. Every species expected the worst. They expected conquest. They expected slavery. They expected the end of civilization as they knew it. Instead, they got a dinner invitation. The human diplomatic delegation arrived at Nexus Prime in a ship called the UNSF Friendship. The name alone confused everyone. The ship was smaller than most Council shuttles, unarmed, and decorated with colorful lights that the humans explained were for something called a party. Ambassador David Chen led the delegation. He was a short man with a round face and a smile that never seemed to go away. He wore a simple suit instead of armor, carried no weapons, and brought with him 3 things: a presentation, a collection of strange foods, and an attitude of genuine excitement. "Greetings," he announced as he walked into the council chambers. 4,000 species watched him from their seats, most of them terrified. "I am Ambassador David Chen, representing the United Nations of Earth and all human colonies. We are really excited to meet everyone." High Counselor Vexithari stood at the center podium, trying to maintain her dignity. "Ambassador Chen, your species has demonstrated military power beyond anything we have ever seen. Your ships destroyed our greatest fleet without effort. What are your demands?" Chen looked confused. "Demands? We do not have demands. We just want to introduce ourselves properly, maybe make some friends. See if anyone wants to trade recipes." "Recipes?" Vexithari was not sure she had heard correctly. "Yes, recipes. Food is very important to humans. Sharing meals is how we build relationships. In fact, we brought some samples for everyone to try." He waved to his team, and they began setting up tables filled with strange items. "This is pizza. This is chocolate. These are tacos. And this is something called cheese, which is basically spoiled milk that we aged until it became delicious." The chamber was silent. "Look," Chen said, putting down the cheese platter. "I understand you are all scared. We expected that. Your fleet attacked our ships, and then your bigger fleet attacked our ships, and we kind of accidentally destroyed a moon. Things got weird, but I want to be very clear about something. We do not want to rule the galaxy." "Then what do you want?" Vexithari asked. Chen thought about how to explain. "Have you ever been lonely? Not just alone, but truly lonely? Humans have spent thousands of years looking up at the stars and wondering if anyone else was out there. We built radio telescopes and sent messages into space and hoped, desperately hoped, that someone would answer. And now, finally, we have found out that we are not alone. There are thousands of species out there, thousands of cultures and languages and ideas. Why would we want to conquer that? We want to learn from it. We want to be part of it." A zealous delegate raised a trembling hand. "But your power, your weapons. You could take whatever you wanted." "Yes," Chen agreed. "We could, but that would be wrong, and honestly, it would be boring. Conquering people is what humans used to do to each other, and it never worked out well. We learned eventually that cooperation is better than domination, that helping others makes us stronger, not weaker. We are not perfect. We have made many mistakes. But we are trying to be better." He pulled up his presentation on the main display. It showed images of Earth, of human cities and forests and oceans. It showed humans helping each other after disasters. It showed scientists working together, artists creating beauty, doctors saving lives. "This is who we are," Chen said. "Yes, we are strong. Yes, our history is violent. Yes, we drink poison and eat spicy food and keep wolves as pets. But we are also kind. We protect the weak. We help strangers. When we see someone in trouble, we do not ask what they can do for us. We just help. It is what humans do." The chamber was quiet, but the fear was starting to fade. Some delegates were looking at each other with new expressions. Could this be real? Could the most powerful species in the galaxy actually want friendship? Vexithari stepped down from her podium and walked toward Ambassador Chen. She moved slowly, carefully, as if approaching a dangerous animal. Chen just stood there, smiling, hands in his pockets. "Ambassador," she said, "if you truly want peace, what are you offering?" Chen's smile grew wider. "Everything. We want to share our technology with any species that wants it. Our shields, our engines, our medical advances. We have cured diseases that your best doctors thought were impossible. We have energy sources that could power whole planets. We have entertainment that will blow your minds. Do you know what a movie is? You are going to love movies. And in return? In return, we want to learn from you. Your history, your art, your science. We want to hear your stories. We want to taste your food. We want to understand how you see the universe. Knowledge is the most valuable thing in existence, and we want to gather all of it." Vexithari looked into the human's eyes. She had been studying alien species for centuries. She could usually tell when someone was lying, but all she saw in Chen's eyes was genuine enthusiasm. He really meant it. The humans really just wanted to be friends. "There is one more thing," Chen said. "We know that not every species in the galaxy is nice. We know there are dangers out there. Pirates, hostile empires, cosmic threats. So we are offering protection. Any species that joins our friendship alliance gets full human military support. Anyone attacks you, they attack us. And as you have seen, attacking us does not end well for the attacker." The chamber erupted in conversation. This was unprecedented. A species with unlimited power offering to protect everyone, asking for nothing but friendship in return. It sounded too good to be true. But maybe, just maybe, it was true. Over the following months, species began to join the human alliance. At first, it was the smaller worlds, the ones that had always been bullied by larger powers. They had nothing to lose and everything to gain. Human doctors arrived and cured their plagues. Human engineers upgraded their ships. Human teachers shared their knowledge freely. Then the larger powers started joining. They saw the benefits. They saw their neighbors growing stronger and healthier. They saw human warships patrolling the space lanes, keeping everyone safe. They saw a galaxy becoming peaceful for the first time in millions of years. Admiral Crixnoth became humanity's biggest advocate. He traveled from world to world, telling his story. He described how he had attacked the humans and they had laughed. He described how they had offered him coffee instead of revenge. He described a species that could have destroyed everything but chose to help instead. Captain Elena Vasquez was promoted to admiral. She commanded the first joint human galactic exploration fleet, searching the edges of known space for new discoveries. Everywhere she went, she brought the same message. You are not alone, and you do not have to be afraid. High Counselor Vexithari eventually became a close friend to Ambassador Chen. They would meet regularly to share meals and discuss philosophy. She once asked him the question that had been bothering her since the beginning. "Why?" she said. "Your people could have taken everything. Why choose to help us instead?" Chen thought about it for a long moment. Because that is what makes life worth living. Power is empty, conquest is hollow, but connection, understanding, friendship, those things give meaning to existence. We spent so long alone, looking at the stars, hoping someone was out there. Now that we have found you, why would we push you away? 1 year after first contact, a celebration was held on Nexus Prime. Every species in the Alliance sent representatives. There was music from 100 worlds, food from 1,000 cultures, and laughter in languages that had never mixed before. At the center of it all, Admiral Vasquez shared a drink with former Admiral Crixnoth. They had become close friends, bonded by the strange circumstances of their first meeting. "You know," Crixnoth said, "when your crew laughed at us, I thought you were mocking us. I thought you were arrogant and cruel." Vasquez smiled. "And now? Now I understand. You were not laughing at us. You were laughing because you were happy. First contact, new friends, a whole galaxy to explore. You were celebrating." "Exactly," Vasquez said. "That is the thing about humans. We laugh when we are happy. We laugh when we are scared. We laugh when something is so strange that our brains cannot process it any other way. Laughter is how we deal with the universe." Crixnoth raised his glass. "To laughter, then." Vasquez raised hers. "To laughter, and to new friends." Around them, the party continued. Humans danced with aliens. Scientists shared discoveries. Children of different species played together, not caring that they looked different or came from different worlds. And somewhere in the great council chambers, a new saying was being carved into the ancient walls in 1,000 different languages. If you hear a human laugh, you are either about to become their friend, or you have made a terrible mistake. The galaxy had changed forever, and for once it had changed for the better.